Hello everybody, and welcome to the beginning of Season 3 of the Celtic FC 25 career mode. Can you believe we are already at this stage of this save? I certainly can't, but I've loved every second of it, and I'm very excited about the campaign ahead. Two very successful campaigns to begin this career mode. We've won the double in both Season 1 and Season 2, beating Rangers in the final of the Scottish Cup in both seasons, and obviously finishing above them in the league as well. They were our closest challengers in Season 1 and Season 2, but even though I say closest challengers, they were still a very distant second at the same time. The last 16 is the stage of the Champions League we got to in Season 1. It was the quarterfinals last season. What will Season 3 bring for Celtic in Europe? I am very excited to see it. We've made some changes to the squad. As you can see here, we already are at the beginning of August. I have made some signings. We've also had a few departures. So without further ado, allow me to introduce you to the new starting 11 here at Celtic for Season 3. Here it is. As you've probably noticed, there is one or two new faces there that were not here last season, and there's also a few faces who are no longer here that were here last season. That's how transfer windows work, Joe. I'm over-explaining it. But this is how the team looks going into this third season. The biggest addition to this team is this man right here, Quinton Timber. The midfield, I do think, is the strongest part of this team, and when it comes to building this team, especially with the lack of funds, it's going to be a marathon, not a sprint. Timber is somebody I've had my eye on for quite some time, and he was at a decent enough price, €50 million. I think that this is going to be a game-changing signing for us. Hatate did a great job, and he is still going to be playing quite a lot of games for us. He is on the bench there, as you can see, but I wanted to make sure we struck while the iron was hot. Timber was available. I was surprised he was still at Feyenoord. I thought somebody else would have swiped him up by now, and when it came to some of the other positions that I wanted to strengthen, I found that we either didn't have the money to bring in the players that I wanted to bring in, because there was other areas of the squad I also wanted to improve, and I also felt like that the players that we could have brought in weren't really upgrades a lot of the time. So Timber seemed like the signing that made the most sense to go and splash the cash on. So he will slot into that left-hand side of the midfield, Santos there over on the right, and Dorado there as the holding midfielder. And as you can see here, the options we have off the bench and the reserves: Hatate, Christie, McGregor, and even young Dylan Morrissey, who has been called up from the Youth Academy, and I do want to give some of the Youth Academy players a bit more game time if we can't loan them out, especially when we need to rotate the team. I think it'll help their growth in the long run. So very, very happy to see the depth we have in the midfield. Front three, I'm quite happy with. Furuhashi has actually gone up to a 79, so even in his 30s, he's still growing, which is good to see. Ida obviously did lose a rating after getting that injury last season, but we all know what he's like when he's on form, so I do think that Furuhashi and Ida will both be able to contribute to yet another successful season. Although there is a striker I really want to bring into this team, and next season, if we have the funds available, I will be bringing him in. It's a signing that may not be very realistic, but it also makes sense. But we'll talk about that more as the season progresses. Maeda there out on the left, despite being only 77 rated, he plays like an 87 rated player. I absolutely love Maeda in this team. He's been absolutely fantastic. Arguably my favourite player that I've used so far this year. Palma there off the bench as well can do the job. Kuhn, not the best season for him individually last season, but I'm still happy to keep him in this team. And then as you can see here, the back four is the same, bar one player. We have brought in this guy here, Garcia, a left-footed Spanish centre-back. This is how I like to have my centre-backs. A right-footed player playing on the right-hand side of the defence, and a left-footed player playing on the left-hand side. It's just something that I really enjoy doing in these saves, and that is the way we're going to be playing going forward. He is slightly lower rated than Cameron Carter-Vickers, who has moved on. We'll get into some of the outs as this episode progresses, but he does have time on his side. 8 years younger than Carter-Vickers at 20 years old, so I'm very excited to see how he progresses. Sessegnon still at left back, Johnston at right back, and also the captain of the team at the moment, although I am considering giving it to Phil Brooks. He has signed a lifetime deal, and centre-backs tend to make good captains, and you know what, I've just talked myself into it. No offence, Alistair Johnston, but Phil Brooks is now going to be the captain of this Celtic team. I've made that decision now, and that's what we're going to be doing in terms of the captain of this team. And as you can see here on the bench, there's a couple of new faces as well. Bert, it was a free agent, English backup goalkeeper, 75 rated. So if anything does ever happen to Pullison, I feel like we've got a better rated goalkeeper now to bring in. And we've also got this young player here, Costa, a right-footed centre-back who will be the backup to Brooks. As I say, we did sell Cameron Carter-Vickers, so I wanted to bring in another right-footed centre-back. We do have Reyes, but to be honest, lads, I'm thinking of selling him. Wasn't overly fond of him anytime we used him. We did bring him in as a free agent last season. He was okay, but nothing special. And I feel like we could do with bringing in some extra money in case we want to bring in any players if we need any emergency signings. So we have transfer listed Reyes, so we'll see if we get any offers for him. Scales is obviously there as the backup left-footed centre-back, and I'm very, very happy with the depth in that position. So with all that said, let's get into some of the outs that we experienced during this transfer window as well. So if we go over here, Timber cost 50.5 million from Feyenoord, so it was basically all of our transfer budget to begin things, but as you can see, we did sell Cameron Carter-Vickers, which obviously helped when it came to getting more funds for Timber and for also bringing in Costa. Costa actually initially was a free agent, but then Brighton snapped him up, but I really, really wanted to bring him in, so we ended up paying the 15.6 million. I actually forgot about that. I made all these signings yesterday at the time of recording, and it's only now I'm getting around to recording it, so I actually forgot about that part, which is kind of worrying considering that it only happened yesterday. But anyways, whatever. Enough about my early dementia. But Cameron Carter-Vickers did leave 25.2 million off to Villarreal. Best of luck to him. He was a very good servant for the club, but I did feel like that we needed to bring in a bit more of a youthful presence at the back, and I felt like that was a good offer to accept for Carter-Vickers. So best of luck to him over in Spain. Engels has gone over to Belgian side Club Brugge. We have a history of Belgian teams in this career mode, not just in this career mode, but on this channel. We have a love-hate relationship with them, and he will now be joining the Belgian side of this career mode by going to Club Brugge. Didn't get to play him an awful lot, Engels, who is Belgian himself as well, forgot to mention that. But yeah, anytime we did use him, he was okay, but I felt like he was only wasting away in the reserves. We've obviously got a bit more depth now in the midfield as well, so he was going to get even less chances, so I felt it was best to move him on. So best of luck to him at Brugge, unless we play them in the Champions League, in which I hope that we absolutely batter them, because as I say, the rivalry with the Belgian teams on this channel is up there with some of the greatest rivalries sport has ever seen. It is the Rock Austin of this channel. Sinisalo, our backup goalkeeper, has moved on to Ghent for 1.4 million. Paddy the Baddy Pimblett, aka Logan McIntyre, he's gone out on loan to Saint Etienne in France. Kwon Hwek Kyu, I've probably butchered that pronunciation. Barely played him, the Korean CDM. He's moved on to Etafaki over in Saudi Arabia, or Etafak, I think is how you say it. It's not even telling me. He's gone to Saudi Arabia. Only 1.1 million. Small money, pennies, when you think about the money that the Saudi League has. Angus Guthrie has gone to Cluj for 1 million. Montgomery has gone off to that team, who I don't recognise, for just under 1 million. Garcia, as I say, was brought in as a free agent, as was Burt. Finlay and Curry, two young Irish centre-backs, going out on loan to Cardiff and Stoke respectively. So that's all the transfer business so far, but as I said, we are looking to sell Reyes. In terms of the Youth Academy, these are the regions we are currently scouting in. Ireland, of course, because we are managing the Irish national team, so we're looking for some fullbacks, centre midfielders and wingers. We're obviously scouting in Scotland as well, centre midfielders, CDMs, strikers and left wingers. And then I picked Germany, because I haven't actually scouted in Germany all that often, which is kind of surprising considering that they are one of the powerhouses in football. But we're looking for some centre backs, right mids, left mids and centre mids. I do miss the days where you could scout, I should say, in any position. It is kind of annoying that you can't do that anymore, but hopefully we'll get some good reports from these regions and continue to grow that youth academy and inject some of that youthfulness into the squad. And some good news to report for the international side of this career mode. Having not been included in the World Cup in 2026 because EA just decided, yeah, no, you're not doing that. We have been given European Championship qualifiers and I'm so excited for it. And what a group. Croatia, Scotland, Hungary and the Ukraine. I don't know why the table is kind of blacked out. That's kind of annoying, but whatever. But not only is this an interesting group because we have the Battle of the Home Nations with Ireland and Scotland, the Celtic cousins clashing, but Croatia did win the World Cup this past summer in this game. So we will have to play the World Cup winners. That is not going to be easy. Ukraine have some good players as well. Hungary, I fancy our chances against. And Scotland, I think it should be quite even. So those games will be played as well this upcoming season. Thank the Lord. I was starting to think we were not going to be able to use Ireland at all in this save. But we do have competitive games coming up. And I'm very much looking forward to playing them. But here we go, lads. It's the first game of the season. It's away from home against Aberdeen. And unfortunately, this is the only game I'm going to be able to play today. I am in a bit of a rush when it comes to getting this episode up. I'm stuck for time. So it is only going to be the one game today, I should say, on this episode. But we are going to play it in full. The new signings will be making their debut. So without further ado, let's get into it. Still on legendary difficulty for now. We're only going to play ultimate for the European games just because, you know, we've probably done a little bit better in Europe than we expected to do, whereas in Scotland we're doing as well as we should be doing. So let's make the European games a little bit harder and have the Scottish League kind of, you know, let's just see how the Scottish League kind of goes, staying on legendary. If I feel like it gets too easy though, then I will up the difficulty. But I did say though last season that it got a little bit tougher towards the end, and I was kind of mixing up some games between Ultimate and Legendary. And actually, now that I said that out loud, I just realised that's on the footage that didn't make the channel, so never mind, you actually didn't hear me say that. But I was doing a mix of games on Legendary and Ultimate, and let's just say the Ultimate games were very, very tough. But anyways, Aberdeen here, who did beat us last time I played them, 1-0, and that was at Celtic Park. They are the team that we will be playing on this opening day. Without further ado, let's get into it. Timber there with his first touch of a ball as a Celtic player. Season 3 kicks off, and I'm very much excited to see what it brings. And speaking of players taking their first touch, here's Garcia. But I love this, having a left-footed player playing on the left-hand side of the defence. Something I'm very, very happy about. But I wish Cameron Carter-Vickers nothing but the best. Unless we play him in Europe, then I hope that, you know, he gets injured and misses the rest of the season. I'm joking. I just hope he doesn't beat us. But obviously in the next episode, we will see what our Champions League... I was going to say what our Champions League group looks like, but what I should say is the opponents we'll be facing in the league phase is what we'll see. Here's Santos now, over to Kuhn, whose stats weren't great last season, but he did finish the season strongly as he gives away the ball there. And also we'll have some international games to get into, but I will try and keep that as separate as I can, episode-wise. But it probably will have a little bit of a crossover when it comes to the European qualifiers. But if we do qualify for the Euros, then I'll play that completely separately to the Celtic career mode. We'll give that its own kind of mini-series. So hopefully we'll be able to do that and get Ireland to their first tournament since 2016. But here's Timber. Good run. Cuts it back. Maida, oh, the keeper has made an absolute mess of that, and it's Maida, my player of the season last season, getting things going here in season 3. Beautiful cut back, decent strike, but the keeper will be very disappointed with that. Timber on his debut, cutting it back for Maida. Oh, lads, that's going to make a blooper reel. I tell you what, if this was real life, that would be on every footballing blooper reel known to man. He's basically put it into the back of his own net, the keeper, but Maida will claim it. Celtic benefit from it, and we take the lead here on the opening day. Get in there. Perfect start. Hopefully more where that came from. Oscarson looking to get a quick response here though for Aberdeen. He did get the winner here at Celtic Park. or winner in this fixture at Celtic Park, I should say. And he gets a half-decent strike off there. But thankfully it goes past the post. And I apologise as well if you feel like I kind of rushed through the transfer window. We just didn't have a lot of flexibility. I knew that we weren't going to have as much money as we would if we were playing in one of the top 5 leagues, for example. And I kind of felt like the Timber was the best option to go for, because the other players in the positions that I was also looking to improve, I didn't feel like they would have been major improvements on those positions. But as I said, it's a marathon, not a sprint. I'm not expecting us to be competing for the Champions League properly for at least another 2 seasons, even though we were in the quarter-final last season. So, you know, we kind of competed then, but in terms of getting to the final or even the semi-finals, I'm still expecting that to be another couple of seasons before we're doing that. But Santos now, he's done really well. Oh, he just beat the post though. Unlucky. Very, very happy with the midfield though. I know I keep saying it, but I'm really, really happy with it. And I did give Timber the number 16. I had a Celtic jersey when I was younger with a Keane 16 on the back, not too long after he joined Celtic, after leaving United. I'm sure that's actually still around this house somewhere. Maybe it's still at my parents' house. I must try and find that. Here's Dorado now, over to Timber. Maeda. Can he see Kyogo Furuhashi? Oh, he did. But the defender was well able to read that. Here's Brooks, the new captain. Santos. Dorado, over to Timber. Has a go, but right into the arms of the keeper. He'll probably feel a little bit more under pressure now, the keeper, after making that mistake. Timber is going to have another go. Why not? Oh, just over the bar. But we're nearly approaching the half-time break here. Still 1-0. We've been the better team. Is Devlin now on the ball? Looking for his judgment day, am I right? Yeah, that was a stupid joke that most of you probably didn't even understand. But Timber now over to Johnston. Happy belated Canadian Thanksgiving as well to anyone who celebrates. Of course, my partner is from Canada, so a lot of love for that part of the world. And there is a very exciting career mode coming up later on this year with a team from Canada. So if you want to know more about that, go and check out the preview that I did a few months ago about the teams we'll be using this year. Can we get a goal here right at the end of the half? We're passing it around a lot here, but we can't get a shot off. And the referee's blown the whistle, you bastard. Just as we were about to get into a good position. But half-time here, 1-0 up against Aberdeen. Playing well. Very, very happy with the performance so far. Let's put the game to bed now in this second half. I have made one change. I wanted to bring on Adamida to get him back into the swing of things after that injury. Obviously, he did very well when he came on in the cup final, and I really enjoyed using him up front last season. So I don't want to forget about him just because he's dropped a rating. I want to keep that momentum going. So we'll give him this second 45 minutes. Here's Dorado. Over to Sessegnon. Oh, here's Maeda. Maeda, round the keeper. Oh, it's just too easy for him. It's just too easy for Daizen Maeda. He is the star of this team at the moment, and he has been for quite some time. Obviously, Furuhashi's gotten a lot of credit. Ida I've spoken about as well. Santos, I think, has done really well also. But Daizen Maeda has been the main man for me in this series. Again, what's going on with this camera angle? Bloody hate the POV camera. Good idea on paper. Execution is quite questionable, but there was no question about the execution of that strike. Keeper probably should have done a bit better there, but we don't care. It's 2-0 to Celtic, and we are kicking off this season the way we finished last season, with a bang. But I kind of hope, though, that a few more teams start to challenge. Oh, speaking of challenging, here they come. Good tackle, though, by the new captain, Brooks. Made a punk out of that striker, am I right? Or out of that attacker, I should say. Here's Johnston. Over to Dorado. But as I was saying, I hope that teams like Aberdeen or Dundee United or Hibs or even Hearts can put up more of a challenge this season in the league. But I do expect Rangers to be the closest challenger yet again. Maida now on a hat-trick. Good save. Ida off the bench, gets a goal. 3-0, half an hour to go. Game, set and match here, surely. Adam Ida. That nose is looking a bit better than it did last time we saw him. It was a broken nose that kept him out for a few months, which was kind of stupid. You don't play football with your nose, Adam. But you definitely play it with your feet. And he's just scored with his foot. That was really stupid. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyways, moving on. Ignore that bad commentary. 3-0 up here. Aberdeen making a couple of changes. Or making one change, I should say. But one thing that hasn't changed is Celtic's dominance in this league. And I don't expect it to change anytime soon. It's just about bringing that form into Europe. Here's McGrath. Over to Duke. Good tackle by... or good interception, I should say, by Brooks. I can't bloody speak English today. I feel like I've corrected myself at least 7 times on this episode already. But as I say, I'm just slightly under pressure for time. But I will make up for that next week. I'll talk a little bit about the schedule next week. Oh, as Santos comes in here. Oh, good save. But that ball that's just hit the back of the net will be going home with this man here, Dazen Maida. Honestly, what more can be said? He is just too damn good. I tell you what, I'm kind of surprised we haven't gotten many offers for him. Not that I would necessarily entertain them, because I want him to stay. But with the form he's been in... And you know what? I'm surprised he's only had a 77 rating. I thought dynamic potential might have kicked in a bit more for him. But that could kick in this season. But he's made it 4-0 here. I'm going to make some changes. Santos is a wee bit tired, so we'll bring on Hetsate. Let's give Costa his debut as well. Because why not? Yeah, Garcia's a little bit more tired. We'll put Brooks at left centre-back because he's got a better weak foot. And I think that's all we'll do for now. But yeah, I'll talk a little bit about the schedule once we finish this game for next week. Because I do want to make up for the fact that this episode is going to be a little bit shorter than normal. There is only going to be one game. But there's not going to be a clean sheet. 4-1. Aberdeen do pull one back. Just fell asleep there at the back. They're celebrating like they're 4-1 up though. Relax a small bit, lads. This game. They need to fix that. They need to incorporate player emotions a bit better here. But anyways, they do pull back a consolation goal, Aberdeen. But that's all it is. Scamp consolation. There's Timber. Adamida. Oh! Yeah, he's definitely going back in the starting 11. No offense, Kyogo Furuhashi. But Ida brought him on at half-time. 2 goals to kick off his campaign. You can tell he was hungry for that. He was like Dexter at a crime scene. He could see the blood. And he's followed it up with those killer instincts. And I can't think of a more clever way to finish that analogy. Dexter's a great series, by the way. You should definitely check it out. But anyways, I'm talking about that like it's a new series. It's literally, like, been around for years. But anyways. Oh, Aberdeen are in here again, though. Oh, and they fucking scored again. 5-2. Well, it's becoming a bit of a basketball game at the moment. It's Oscarson again. That was a good finish. Let me just check something there. Not match facts. Where am I going? Performance. And let's go over to Aberdeen. 76 rated. Interesting. How old is he? I'll have to check that after the game. He has scored against me quite a few times, Oscarson. So he could be somebody worth keeping an eye on, depending on what stage of his career he's at. But 5-2 here. Well, it was 7-3 on the opening day last season. Never a dull moment. Oh, are we going to get 2 hat-tricks in this game, though? Ida! Oh, he's offside. I thought it was going to be a penalty. He was offside. I'm going to use this chance, though, to make the last couple of changes. Timber's a wee bit tired, so we'll bring on McGregor. And I'm also going to bring on Valet for Sessegnon. Final 2 changes of the game. Oh, I've just remembered. For some reason, they don't allow you to make the changes when a set piece or a free kick, or a set piece or a free kick, when a set piece or a penalty is about to be taken. That's something I've noticed. Anytime you go to make a sub whilst the set piece or spot kick is going to be taken, they won't let you make the sub. It's really annoying. So we'll have to put... Oh, Jesus Christ. I was going to say we'll have to put the ball out of play ourselves. Oh, we've given away a penalty. How? Well, it's Brooks who's given it away, but I can't see what actually happened. Are you serious? He's given a penalty for that. Oh, now he's made a liar out of me because they're making the bloody subs. The last time I got a penalty, I had subs lined up and they wouldn't let me take it. But here's McGrath, and Pullison saves it. Fix your bloody game, EA. That's really annoying. And that was never a penalty. Unbelievable. Well, here's Adamida. He's on a hat-trick now as well. Oh, it's a good save. Kuhn wasn't able to follow it up. And it's into the grasp of the keeper now. 3 added minutes. Brooks wins that header. Can we get one more goal here? Just rub salt in the wound a little bit more. No, we can't. And it looks like that's going to be full time, lads. 5-2 here on the opening day of the season. Away from home against Aberdeen. Not too bad of a start to the season, if I do say so myself. A hat-trick for Dazin Maeda. 2 goals for Adamida. 2 star players picking up where they left off last season. And Celtic getting 3 points to begin the campaign. And lads, that unfortunately is where I'm going to have to end it here. I know it's a little bit shorter than normal. I do apologise. I'm going to be out quite a bit for the next couple of days, so just had to try and get a recording in as quick as I could. And I'm a little bit stuck for time at the moment, but I will make up for that on Monday. And also next week, I know I said that I was going to do the same schedule as the week that's just happened, the week currently that we're in. I'm over-explaining it. But I was going to keep the schedule the same of doing an episode every 2 days. But to make up for this being a bit of a quicker episode, we will do an extra episode on Thursday. So we'll do Monday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday next week. Hopefully that'll make up for it and hope you're looking forward to it. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Please do like the video if you enjoyed it and consider subscribing to the channel. And I will talk to you all next week. Take care.